Hello, everybody out there. Thank you for joining in on another small podcast. This is where you're going to find us talk about sports, about games, about Pokemon, and this time, Disney movies. My name is Luke.
That's Drake.
No!
And I'm Dave.
That's you!
Let's get into it.
He was pointing right at you.
Yeah, but that's not the order of things.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. That's just
Wow.
something that come
Look
out.
over there in West Philadelphia.
Born and raised, yeah.
Oh man.
I don't know. I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna do random things.
He does the random intro.
Yeah.
I like it.
I gotta have the end off.
Yeah, that's
The
fair.
lead off and the end off. I don't know.
It is what it is. Yeah, you're a control freak. We get it.
Yeah, I am. That's fine.
Yeah.
How was your Sunday, Luke?
Sunday was pretty solid. Yeah, had a nice game of golf with Master Drake over there.
Master.
Wow.
Two other random gentlemen that we ended up getting paired with. They were solid right off the get go. They were cussing and fighting like we were.
Yeah,
So
it's hilarious.
throw some tunes on, and we were all having a couple of beverages and playing some
Yeah.
games. They weren't super good. Neither were we. We just had a good solid time.
Oh man, absolutely. I beat Luke. Let
Wow.
everyone know.
One stroke
One
doesn't
stroke.
really count.
Oh, every stroke counts.
Wow. Okay.
Words of
We're
wisdom
going
right there. Words of wisdom right there.
Yeah.
You guys are lucky I didn't go, because if I was there, I would have beat you both.
Hi, Mom.
Dave,
Yeah.
no. You don't play golf.
I don't play the sport of golf. No, I go golfing with you guys because you make me.
No, we offer. You say, well, if you'll play 9, and then after 6 or 7, I hate this game. I want to go home.
I never have once said that I want to go home. Not true. I
Everything
do
but.
say
Everything but.
I hate the stupid sport. It's difficult as shit. I'm tired of it. I lose a club every time somehow. Like, it's just after 7 is like the magic number. That I'm like, okay, well, I've had fun. Now I'm starting to get frustrated. So when you guys want to do 18, it's like, no, man.
I'm like, I don't want to go for 9. 9 to me seems
Yeah.
pointless. I don't get enough of a buzz.
Yeah.
I'm not having enough fun.
Mhm.
I need to be able to stretch out my shittiness throughout 18 holes to make it feasible. Because either I do way too well in the front or way too bad in the front. I need to be able to stretch it out and have a decent time.
I will say this. Luke did hit an incredible putt from about 350 yards away, it felt like.
It was definitely 100 feet, at least 100 feet.
Yeah,
For
it
sure.
was. We were all joking
It was
about it.
uncanny.
Like, we were all joking about it. Like, Luke was kind of just like, man, I love putting from the back of these or whatever. And then,
It was like 2 or 3 in a row that I was putting from a distance.
Yeah, like-
a distance.
like, the pin placement this on the course today was like just always on the edge. And Luke was always putting from the other end of the green. And then,
Consistence.
and so the guy that we were going with, like, Luke said a joke, and he goes, "Hey man, you're gonna be laughing about it when you make it." Then we're just like, ha 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 ha. And Luke hammered it. He
I
hammered
punched
the
it.
putt.
I punched it.
Yeah, and it fucking went 100 and
It
70
hit
yard.
hit the pin and dropped.
Yeah.
If it wasn't COVID rules and the flag wasn't in, she would have popped right over there and been out the other side.
Oh, yeah?
It
sure.
It wouldn't even touch the hole. It wouldn't flying over.
You
top.
weren't,
yeah.
you weren't coming up short on that one. eh?
No. Well, the first, so like this, I think this was the second one. I did 3 of them in a row where it was at a distance. And the first one I hit within 5 feet. And I said, if I hit it within 5 feet, I'm going to be happy. So I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. Hit the second putt, it was fine. This one, I was like, well, I guess this is what I'm doing. This is my game today. And then nailed it. The third one, I was at the back of the green and then, again, came pretty close and got it in the second one. But, like, I was just leaving myself some bad opportunities and made the best of them for the most part.
Yeah, wasn't too bad.
Fun.
I had one hole where I lost my shit. I helicoptered the club. I was just. I was playing. And
You
here's the
chucked
thing.
it?
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. I was actually playing like really good golf for a lot of it, and then for something happened during this hole where I just completely broke down, and I was topping the ball, I was doing whatever. I'm pretty sure I took like 7 shots. I wasn't even on the green yet.
He had
I
like
was
6 or
so
7 strokes, didn't make it to the
pissed.
green.
The last
Threw
one,
the-
the last
threw
one, I
it.
just fucking hawked the club. I was like, fuck this, man. I was like, oh, I hate this stupid.
Didn't
sport.
finish the hole.
And he still beat you.
man.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you count not finishing a hole as winning, sure.
Oh my god. One of the other guys did the same thing too. He got stuck. He got stuck in the bunker. He just kept hitting it over and over and over again, probably 13 times.
He finally got it out of the bunker, and we were like, okay, well, hey, that's okay. He's like, oh, no, keep playing. I'm done.
Yeah. He picked up the ball. He walked it.
Yeah, good time.
Well, you love. That's what you play golf for, man. I mean,
You hate to love it.
no one plays golf to like, you know.
Speaking of hating
Good
and
at
loving,
it. What?
I want to hear your top 3 favorite Disney movies and your bottom 3 favorite, least favorite Disney movies.
Bottom 3 favorite.
Yeah, bottom 3
The
favorite.
ones that you least enjoy.
Yes.
Top 3 absolutely has to be Aladdin, Lion King. I don't know. The third one's tough.
It is.
'Cause
There's a
there's
lot
the-
of movies.
There's a couple that are going to definitely be up. Like Aladdin and Lion King are like the go-tos.
And I'm not counting any like animated. Like no Pixar stuff.
Oh,
Just like I'm
okay.
talking cartoons
I was
right
like,
now.
they're all
Because
animated. Dave.
sorry, yeah, that's the wrong. It was the wrong choice of word. Because if you start putting Pixar and everything, then it gets really.
Like OG Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It has to be OG Disney.
Yeah.
Well, that
This-
just
this is
changes
the segment.
everything.
This
I was
cut-
gonna say
Well, we
Star
can.
Wars: The Force Awakens, Star Wars: Last
Oh,
Jedi, and Star Wars:
stop.
Skywalker.
This is what I was talking about.
Go on.
This is what I knew was coming.
Does Cars count?
Is that computer animated?
Isn't that Pixar?
Yeah, dude. That's what no.
Well, technically, like the all still would be like computer animated.
No. Okay. Well,
saying.
that kind of helps eliminate it. It's gonna then to be Toy Story. Wait.
Toy Story is also computer
Okay, wait,
animated.
so-
Well, come on then. That's not fair.
Well, we'll put this in there. Sure, we'll use that as an option then. So your
Those
Toy
are
Story.
all OG movies too.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are
yeah.
OG Disney. You gotta let Toy Story in that, and I think you gotta let the Pixar ones in.
If you can't count Toy Story, then we're not having this conversation.
Okay, that's fair.
That's as original as it gets.
I'm gonna go Beauty and the Beast,
Okay.
Aladdin,
Sure.
and if we're gonna do computer animated, I might do Monsters Inc.
Nice. Yeah.
Sneak that one in there.
Yeah. That's
That was
legit.
That's a wicked movie.
That's legit.
Yeah.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Stop.
I would say all the Star Wars movies, but oh man. So I would have to go. So we're talking OG. We're not talking remakes, right? Like
Throw your stuff that you like, and then I'll tell you if you're an idiot or not.
We'll tell you if it counts.
And make sure everyone out there you're leaving us a comment on whose top 3 is best. Obviously.
Or just your top 3.
Yeah.
That also counts.
Oh
We want to hear from you too.
man, Lion King, number 1. This is hard, Dave.
Oh yeah.
God, you like attention a lot.
It's crazy too because
We're lingering on your every word.
we mentioned this before the podcast.
I didn't think about. I was gonna say Star Wars the entire time. I was gonna be all clever and shit.
That's not clever, that's
dumb. But if we're going OG,
Lion King.
Aladdin number 2 for me.
So you're just trying to be me, okay?
Aladdin was a great
Pirates
movie.
of the Caribbean.
Okay. Okay.
I'll let you have that one there too, I guess.
Yeah, that's all right.
That is actually Disney. That is like straight up Disney. That's not even any other studio or anything.
Can we all agree that Pinocchio is like bottom, like just hot trash garbage?
Yeah, Pinocchio and Bambi were not it for me.
Bambi's kind of.
No.
Kind of dark.
Bambi wasn't it for me. Pinocchio wasn't it. I mean, again, like I get why everybody else and why other people would enjoy it, but like Cinderella was just wasn't for me.
I didn't.
And again, hey, I know there's plenty of people. Speaking of my wife upstairs, would absolutely say that's definitely one of her tops. But like, just for me, wasn't that.
Yeah. Pretty controversial for me because I know most people like this one, but I just really don't like Mulan or Pocahontas.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter Pan sucked too.
Yeah,
Peter Pan's fucking weird, man.
Yeah, it is a strange one.
He's
strange one.
different. That one's
like Mulan. I would definitely leave somewhere in the middle because, like, you know, again, like pretty solid. I
Oh my
kinda
God,
kinda
Emperor's
the
New
action of
Groove.
it all.
That's in my
Emperor's New
top 3. Sorry.
Really?
How? Yeah. Have you watched it? Yeah, I don't know why I blanked on that one. Yeah, that's definitely in there. That bumps Monsters Inc. down.
Oh, man.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So if you were to now that we said like all the OGs out of the remakes, what was your favorite remake?
Like the actual like live.
Yeah,
version
like
remakes?
the live action. You know,
Hey, my number one, still number one. Aladdin live action remake was fucking dope.
It was awesome.
Love that. Super good.
I can't.
Lion King was better.
As much as
Lion King also solid.
yeah, as much as I was cheering for Aladdin, I hated what they did with Jafar. It ruined the movie for me.
That's fair.
They
But that's
they
tough,
turned
though.
a deep, menacing one of the best villains that Disney came with into a little fucking pussy. Just this.
Well, we're talking about Disney movies. Like, calm down over there. But also, like, yeah, sure, that character didn't necessarily do it. Everybody else did. So, you know.
Yeah, the guy
Great-
who
great
played
movie.
Aladdin and the girl who played Naomi Scott, who played Jasmine, were fantastic.
You're not going to bring up Will Smith.
I said, and that's where I was gonna say, and Will Smith killed it. But you know what, Luke?
I don't know, man. Whoever played that little monkey nailed it.
Oh my God, Dave.
It did suck, but
be that ignorant. Like,
it did suck that Iago didn't even have a voice either, though, which kind of. That's what I mean. They changed too much when it came to it. But
well, they're trying to be more
And-
realistic.
And then
like,
again, the other live action that actually like killed it, Beauty and the Beast.
yeah, 100%.
Amazing.
Beauty and Beast did
Amazing.
kill it.
Yeah,
Phenomenal. Emma Watson.
Lion King
of
and
Life.
Beauty and Beast were my top
Well-
two out of those for sure.
Jungle
Yeah.
Book was good too. Actually,
Yeah, was.
the remake of that one was.
Yeah.
They actually so like really they haven't messed anything up in my eyes. Really,
No, I mean like I haven't got to watch like Cruella, which is a recent
yeah,
one.
me either. Yeah,
You know, the Maleficents were
Yeah.
were
they were good
pretty
too.
good. They're coming out with the Disney Jungle Cruise with The Rock.
That's like this week.
It's news to
Yeah,
me.
coming out soon.
Soon.
There's
As opposed to soon. Coming out soon.
well, like not just soon, as in like it'll be out. Everything in the movies is coming soon.
Yeah,
next
true.
year.
Yeah.
Soon is like literally on the door of coming out now.
Gotcha. Now I'm very happy to know the definition of soon.
Yeah, but hey, one
Look at
thing.
his face.
Jeez.
You're a garbage human.
Pretty soon he's gonna kick me out of here. Got him.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. All right.
So-
That's good.
But hey, like two common denominators in those top ones we all picked was Jon Favreau being the director of Jungle Book and Lion King.
That's
He just-
something I didn't know.
You didn't know that? Yeah, he did both of them, and then that's why and then he took over for like Star Wars with the Mandalorian and killed he's been knocking it out of the park ever since, forever.
Call him Mr. Disney.
He's right now he's Mr.
Really
he's
is.
Mr. Star Wars and stuff like that right now, but Disney gives him a lot of love, and he deserves
Star
every
Wars
bit
is
of it.
owned by Disney, Drake. I don't know if you knew that, but
And the Marvel movies, right?
Jeez.
owned.
Yeah, Disney owns everything.
Yes,
Good
they
for
own
them.
all that
They-
stuff.
They're good.
ESPN, everything like that, right? So, oh
Puppets.
man, it's
Puppets.
crazy. Yeah, it's for sure. But Dave, man, you and I this weekend, man,
We
rocked.
put a lot of hours in.
You boys have been grinding.
Pokemon Unite is awesome.
It's
Living up
So
to the
fun.
expectations?
It's already exceeded mine.
Smashed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super fun. Like honestly, like we can believe how fun it actually ended up being, just because of like we haven't gotten bored yet, and it could very well be because like you and I are playing a lot together, but you've been playing a lot on your own. Like if I've been busy or doing whatever, but it's been pretty good. It's competitive. It's
Balanced.
very well balanced for the start of a game.
There's for those of you who don't know, Pokemon Unite is a Pokemon themed MOBA. So you essentially you play as a character, and as you play through, you level up by taking out mobs around you, and it's 5 people versus 5 people. For this case, 5 Pokemon versus 5 Pokemon in a map, and you're trying to take KO Pokemon, collect Pokeballs, and drop them off, like slam dunk them in the opposing people's zone without getting your character killed in the time frame. And as you play through, you level up, you get new abilities, and what's really cool about it is you get to choose. There's about 20 characters so far you can pick from, and they all have 2 abilities that you can choose which way you want to upgrade them to or evolve them to. So there's a lot of replayability, even though it's the same game every time.
Yeah.
And they did a good job too. Like doing 10-minute interval games was
Yeah.
such a genius call.
Yeah, there's a lot of good strategy there because like games like in League of Legends and things like that, like the games can just drag on because you have to in the end like destroy all the towers and everything like that at the end. So the game can really drag on if no one's winning. But this is just like score as many points as you can in 10 minutes. And it's interesting. You and I have talked about it a bit. They don't tell you the score as you go along.
You have no idea how you're doing.
That's interesting.
Which is super interesting because like you're sitting there like hoping. So like it actually adds a bit of like anticipation because you think that every single score counts. You're like, oh man, that was tight, and then you're like 900 to 250. You're like, oh, it wasn't tight, and you're like, and you didn't really realize it, right?
It really is smart in that sense because in other games that where you know how you're doing, when they can you can see your progression or the other team's progression way faster, you just start to beat yourself up and you don't care, like this one's right off.
Yeah.
In this game, you have 10 minutes only, and no matter what happens, 10 minutes the game's done. So it's quick, it's fun. You have no idea if your team's winning or not because if I'm in one lane, I can't really see what's going on in the other lane.
Mm-hmm.
I can look at the map and kind of get an idea, but you really don't know who's scoring points and stuff. I think they nailed it. Like they really
honestly
did.
did.
They nailed it.
So I played the beta on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the game actually like really starting on Switch, are there like new like levels? Are there new arenas? Is there like a way to be able to kind of extrapolate the game a little bit more? Because like I mean obviously there's a number of different characters like you said, and it's a little bit more replayable than what I had assumed from the mobile, but I would assume there has to be more arenas and stuff too, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different arenas in there. I'm sure they're going to come out with different types, but then they also have been doing like kind of these revolving kind of like timed like quick matches where you can go into like doing like a 4v4 or a 3v3.
Oh, cool.
And then maps are different designed and have different layouts and different aspects to them, which is really cool. And it's really kind of fun
Really
to play.
change up the game.
Yeah, it is. And the one thing that we've always been talking about, we talked about in our Twitch stream and things like that, is just that like we always said that Pokemon MOBA has such a room to grow because there's just a massive roster that you can just keep adding to.
Oh yeah.
Like they had Blastoise in the beta, but they don't have them out yet in the game. So I don't know if they're like rebalancing or doing whatever, but they're going to be putting them out, I'm sure soon, maybe at launch with the mobile version.
So many generations.
Yeah, they haven't even
crazy.
like I'm sure like they have Lucario and things like that are in there, some of the newer generation stuff, but they haven't really jumped into too many of like the other ones because there's a Bulbasaur, Charizard, Pikachu, Machamp,
Gengar,
like Gengar. That's
but
all.
then you said there's Eldegoss.
and there's
I think you said
Eldegoss,
too.
there's
Yeah.
Talonflame.
Yeah.
There's some newer ones.
There's
Like,
a
most of the
like-
well-known ones. Yeah, Alolan Ninetales.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
So
yeah,
very
yeah,
very
yeah,
fresh.
Yeah.
but my boy,
But yeah, there's so much room to grow. Like I was saying to Drake yesterday, like League of Legends, when I first started playing that back in season 1, I think there was 25 usable characters. Now I think they might have over 200
And like that doesn't
in 10,
but
12 years that they've been playing.
by comparison to the Pokemon, like that's not even close.
Right.
and those are characters that League of Legends has to create from scratch, like its own lore and
Yeah.
whatever. So for Tencent and like Nintendo, they're not creating these characters from scratch. They're characters that have
easy. It's
existed
already been done.
So you're not having to write all this extra stuff or anything like that for it. So they've done an incredible job in terms of keeping it all good. There's items and there's lots of cosmetic stuff to make things look nice, and then you keep playing ranked to try and get yourself ranked up as much as you can, and things like that. And it does a very good job of that. And having it 10 minutes really lets you like kind of play it. Like if you be like, okay, me and the girlfriend go for dinner, she's getting ready, I know it's gonna take her 20 minutes. I could pump out a game in between there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to. So
And literally, when you log in to jump into a game, it's just like that.
yeah, there's so many people playing it.
Yeah.
So
Really popular. Yeah.
yeah, and so
Everybody out there, shameless plug. These boys are on Twitch and YouTube playing live constantly. Keep your eyes out.
Yeah. Oh my god. I was just about to say that we were gonna do Twitch too, but I don't know if but yeah, for everybody, we are on Twitch, twitch.tv/small media. So yeah, if you check us out on Twitch, we will be posting we'll be going live a few times, either Dave and I or one or the other. So definitely check that out. We'll be posting clips and highlights, maybe just games. We just posted one on YouTube. That was one of our ranked matches. That was a pretty strong combo with our Pikachu Slowbro 1-2 punch
Oh yeah.
that we've got. So it was pretty
That's
good.
the only thing that like you guys are bringing up, like the different gens and how many Pokemon that can be in there, and it's like you just don't want to play with like Meowth and Persian. Like there's gonna be some that are just not gonna make it in.
Meowth and Persian are one of the maps as like the little minions that are around. So
Nice, yeah,
Yeah.
little extras.
You smack them around actually.
Fair,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you
okay.
smack around like Apoms and Corphish and
yeah,
Adinos
like,
and
you know,
stuff. Yeah. But that's
characters
cool
that you're
too.
not going to play.
They've set themselves up for like seasonal changes too. Like you know, when Christmas time comes around, all those little Apom, maybe he becomes like a little Delibird, right?
Yeah,
So they have set up themselves up pretty well for that kind of thing too. Like
yeah, that's awesome.
the actual gameplay, I'm like, there's like one Pokemon really out of all of them that I think that stands out above the rest of them, but the rest of them are like they're pretty freaking balanced too. That's what really blew my mind. Like there's only one time. I mean, I'll rage every now and then, like, but like
You raging during
no, because
David.
Gengar. Oof.
what?
If you build Gengar in one way,
Yeah.
Sludge Bomb and Hex, it's just like, why is this Pokemon so strong? Why do I die so fast to this bastard?
Oh man.
But other than that, like I honestly, and even then, you can still counter him and stuff. So I think they nailed it. It's such a fun game. I'll be playing it for years.
So Dave, yeah, for sure. Dave, what's one Pokemon that's not in the game right now that you wish was in the game?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, Crustal's in it, man. and at first I was like, what? Why? And you play him, he's like, just, no pun intended, but he's rock solid.
Oh.
Pun intended. I don't know. I think of like, there's so many. Like, I would love Metagross.
Okay.
I think it'd be sweet. I don't know how they would do him. He's so big and like he'd have to like he'd be walking around all funky too. Yeah, that's the challenge. I want to see Metagross.
That's the challenge. I want to
Tyranitar.
see them figure it out.
Tyranitar would be sick in there
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah. Polytoad.
The
like
only thing-
Poliwrath.
I'll tell you mine, Ren.
The only thing though, like with some of them, where you would have like, well, I guess no, with Tyranitar, it's Larvitar. You can
Yeah.
do it.
Well, no, they evolve as they go along.
How's Larvitar gonna move, Dave?
Yeah, it'd be tough.
If it's that's what I mean. Like you couldn't have Kakuna.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't have
a Beedrill.
Metapod.
I'm sure they'll figure.
Is
it
this
out.
like? This is like Pokemon like slander. Like
Well, it's just
they don't have legs. You're not in our game.
well, it's not. It's just that they can't move. Those are Pokemon that cannot move.
They could roll around. I don't know.
Have you ever seen a Metapod move, Dave?
They
in
have
the shows?
They have an electrode. They have an electrode in the game. He can roll
yeah,
around.
that's fine though. He's
Yeah.
a ball.
Yeah,
He can
Metapod
roll.
cannot though. He's right.
Metapod is literally just a little half moon shape,
Yeah, I
and it's
know.
not like he can hop.
I know,
But
So
he uses Harden. You're never gonna hurt him.
but
sitting there blocking.
Yeah. Who did you want involved in that one, Drake?
I got one. I got one that I want. Totodile.
Nice. Yeah.
For alligator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously for alligator. Yeah, but
That'd be tough though because they already did the first. Yeah, I mean maybe they'll like when they do the expansion and stuff they'll do like second gen starters and third gen starters. 'Cause
Yeah.
they wouldn't just do for alligator. They'd have to do Meganium and Typhlosion too.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they could do them in sets too.
oh yeah,
They'd have to. They'll have to put all the starters in, man. Like,
Yeah.
but they're
There's a
super
lot of
popular
starters,
from a lot
man.
of the games. Yeah, well, yeah.
there's
Still.
can be a lot of characters.
Because that's. I mean,
Why
you're
not?
sitting on 24 starters.
But it's still the same
a
as
full roster
it's
right
the
now.
same
Same
as
league
when-
has 200 characters.
it's the same as in Pokemon Go. They just eventually brought out
Yeah.
all the different gens.
Mhm.
Yeah, and this obviously it looks like they're kind of grabbing a few from each place, but like they will eventually, I can imagine, have to release some more of each gen, Like you said, maybe it's seasonal. Maybe they drop out Venusaur, Blastoise, Charizard, and pop those ones in. And
Since we're talking about this, and I mean, we are a Pokemon rallied squad here.
the old HH Hollow Hunters.
Yeah. Out of all the starters, like all of them, who do you have a favorite?
Totodile.
Typhlosion.
It's like, but like for alligator would be like your top evolved one.
Yeah.
And you like Typhlosion?
Mhm.
I just think it's,
I'm all about Blastoise, man. He's still my favorite.
I like Blastoise too, but like Totodile is just fun. Like I remember just watching the show, even like and stuff like that. Todile is just funny.
He is.
He's just a funny little dude, man. Like he's just.
I always like Cyndaquil, super cute.
Oh yeah.
Typhlosion, big and dope. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're both a Gen 2.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, growing up on the first gen, loved them all.
Mm.
But like, I don't know. It's like from the last little while. Always wanted the Cyndaquil, Typhlosion.
Yeah.
That was always my go-to.
Yeah, man. I really. So I was always fond of the water type, which I loved and hated, because in Pokemon there's more water Pokemon than there are any other type.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always like in my head, like, why am I picking a water starter when I can go and catch something that's just
Multiple
good,
other
right?
good options. Yeah.
Excuse me. But I just always preferred them. I always did. Except for the newest ones, man. Rillaboom. Like not very often that I would like to choose the grass starter, but Rillaboom and Chesnaught. Those two I always like them because they kind of stood out to me. They're very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is then for everybody else is, if you're playing Pokemon Unite, what character do you want to see jump into the game as soon as you can? Like, no one's talking about Mew or Mewtwo. No one's talking about anything like that yet. So, yeah, I mean, like, who do you want to see? Or, like, who do you want to see in the maps as, like, another... Like, we have Zapdos in there. Like, do you want to see any other? Do you want to see an Articuno or Entei or anybody like that? So let us know who you guys want to see. But I think there's a topic that I think a lot of us did want to talk about today, which is sports.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot happening, Luke.
We were trying to get into a live commentary with the draft, and then every sports analyst that's out there from 8 a.m. of draft day onward ruined it.
Man, that sucked.
You guys did your job, and I understand that, but I hate you. So
honestly,
yeah, no, it kind of sucks because, like, obviously there's no way to not watch internet or media throughout the day. And, like, I had a really busy day, but there's so many different groups that I'm in for, like, group chats and stuff. And first off, seeing that they were, like, leaking them a little bit early, like the first one, Carey Price, like, they will not pick Carey Price. I was like, well, I mean, maybe they're just assuming. And then it was like, well, they're going to pick this guy. Then they're going to pick this guy. And it's like, oh, man, stop. I don't want to hear this. Like, I want to watch this live. They ruined whatever live draft opportunity they had. Like, we were here. We still got together to watch it. And when we were watching it, they had already had everybody but maybe one team listed, like completely listed.
Yeah,
already had them all out in a link that they put out for marketing.
Two teams that weren't listed.
Sportsnet.
Crazy.
Yeah, Sportsnet, just like we were sitting there watching it, and Sportsnet just on the bottom of it just said, this person picked, this person picked, this like coming through the thing. It was just like, what the hell? And like, so we were sitting there, and I remember being there throughout the day, and just I was getting notifications on mine too. And like, I mean, a lot of you guys know, like, I mean, I like hockey by all means, but it's not my number one followed sport because I'm just more of like a basketball, football guy. But like, even then, my phone was blowing up with every single pick. And I was just messaging you guys, being like, what's the point of doing a live video then, or a live watch along with everybody when everyone's just going to already know what who got picked? And it was just kind of like, I guess we'll have to talk with the team afterwards then.
But you know what? That's actually kind of a good thing to even mention. Like, you're not a hockey guy. You don't look up a lot of the hockey stats or scores like constantly, like maybe a lot of everybody else. But it was that big that even, you know, Bleacher Report or The Score or whatever, you were getting all those notifications because it was like breaking news, like this is another big deal. So, you know, obviously we weren't the only ones who were really excited. Everybody else has been too. You know, it kind of sucks that they ruined it, you know, ruined that live draft event that they set up. But it was pretty cool to see that expansion and how they panned out.
No, I can't remember. When Vegas did theirs, did they have all the players coming up and ask them if like what they thought and everything like that, like Seattle just did there?
I don't know that they had. I mean, Seattle only had 6 guys that actually like showed up. I don't know if there was. There must have been a couple. It's just
awkward.
Like
I'll be honest. Like even like when Mark Giordano got picked, like it was awkward. He's like, hey, like basically said, I kind of wanted to stay in Calgary, but I'm here.
This is a bit of a surprise. It's
Go
weird,
Kraken.
but hey, doing my job.
Like cool city.
Don't put them on there. Don't put them on the spot. Like, I mean, you got like Macklemore going up there and everything like that and whatnot. It was a weird presentation. I almost like
Trilla Sports.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I almost would have like preferred, in all honesty, for them just to do like have, you know, Francis come up and just be like, with this pick we're gonna do this one, with this pick we're gonna do this one, and maybe have different people from the coaching staff or something like that pop up. But like, just keep it at that. Just keep it business as usual. Look, this is our team. We plan on doing this year. This is our goal. This is who we want. You don't need to have a whole speech, and you don't need to have all that extra shit going on.
I mean, if so, what they tried to do, I think, with the live draft was ruined by everybody knowing them in advance.
Correct.
If all of those players were not leaked previously, and you had celebrities coming up making picks, and everybody had no idea. Because again, that live crowd that was there, they live in Seattle. They got all those alerts. That's why they weren't as loud or kind of crazy as they could have or should have been. But like, you think about it, if you have these celebrities coming up making these picks, and then you're talking about who they are, where they came from, that would be awesome. That would be fun. That's what I was actually looking forward to.
Yeah.
Right.
But that just kind of got squandered.
So the question becomes, and we asked this last week, did they do better or worse than the Golden Knights?
Now that, again, we've got to see some of the moves shake out, and now that the actual rookie draft has happened, I think they're doing okay. Definitely worse, probably.
Oh, yeah.
But that's because of what we know the team to be. If you would have thought about this live during the Vegas draft, and you're looking at William Karlsson before he got drafted, like, who's this guy? He's just just another guy. You know, that Pacioretty didn't get drafted, right? Like,
Right.
there's a lot of guys.
Stone.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that they didn't draft that they got on their team after trades and free agency. That was like, okay, now they're somebody to be reckoned with.
Yeah, but so far Seattle really hasn't done a whole lot more. They moved Pitlick
Yep.
for a 4th round pick.
Yep.
And that's really it. Like, they haven't done it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still lots of time for trades to occur, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So they're obviously going to make some moves. I just feel like Vegas had more of a foundation to go. Like, they had Fleury and net.
Yep.
Like, their starting goaltender for the Kraken is Dredger, whatever his
Dredger,
name,
yeah.
from Florida. Don't get me wrong, decent goalie, but
Yep.
like, that's like, I wouldn't
would've
want him
been-
to be my franchise goalie.
He would have been a great cheap backup.
Yes.
Absolutely. And they only had 3. They only picked in that expansion 3.
Yeah.
And the sum of the salary between all 3 goaltenders
five?
was less than $5 million.
That's
Because Dredger was 3.5 or so, and then the other 2,
rookie
Decord and another, I forget the
from
other
Washington.
guy. Yeah,
Vitek or what's his
yeah. But the 2 of those were $750,000 each.
name? It was Vitek.
Yeah.
Vitek Vanacek.
Yeah,
I'm pretty proud of myself for that one.
They
you
still
got
have
it.
a lot
You got
they
it.
still have a lot of cap space left, don't they?
A
Well,
little.
yeah, they only
a lot.
just breached the minimum.
That's what I meant.
on
They
Yeah,
have
that.
it's still
so
a lot.
much. That's why I'm like, what do they have to do something.
They've got to be making UFA picks and trades. They've
Because they're
gotta
sitting
be.
on $30 million, right?
Yeah, like they just surpassed the minimum. The minimum was 49.2, and I think they were like 49.8 or 50, like
Yeah.
50.1.
It was
Like,
below 50.
It was very close to the minimum. So they have up to 81. Like, it's crazy. Now again, in the draft, they had the number 2 pick. They got the number 1 center, Beniers, like phenomenal
Yeah,
player.
Good for them.
Because
Because they did draft very defensively.
Yeah, and again, like Owen Power being the absolute no question number 1 as a defenseman, you would never not take him if he was there. But they didn't need the defenseman. They got the best center. They got the best forward. It's good for them to have. He'll be a great staple for their team down the road. But again, like in my mind, he doesn't have anybody really to learn from. Like Eberle, I guess. Probably.
Man.
Eberle's going to be the number 1 center.
They got to make. Do you think that there'll be a team that may pursue someone that's not happy, like Eichel or something like that? Do you think they'll be able to do
Well,
that?
I guess that's the other thing that kind of brings up is now that expansion draft happened, the rookie draft happened, there's a lot of teams making a lot of moves, and Buffalo is just selling everything off. Like
Why are they always in rebuild? They've been rebuilding since '86. Shout out to Woodhouse. Your team is garbage.
yeah,
buddy.
man. They're tough. They're like they sold off Reinhardt, they sold off Ristolainen. I don't know. And Eichel's unhappy. That's the thing is I think after the UFA season is now officially ready to go after the draft, I think the cards kind of lie in Eichel's hand. Like he has the ability to go and sign elsewhere now too without a sign and trade, I think. So Buffalo's in a tough spot. And I mean, Eichel's
Again,
obviously
Buffalo's
not happy.
always in a tough spot, man.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
So we've been talking to a bunch of our buddies about all the different moves that are happening, and we have a couple of buddies who are avid fans of the Rangers, and the Rangers have been making a lot of moves too. It looks like they're making room to bring Eichel in, but nothing officially happened. So I don't know what's going to happen, man. Eichel's probably not going to stay there. I can't imagine him being able to stay there.
He wouldn't. as a human being, as a competitive hockey player, why would you want to stay in Buffalo?
Yeah.
With nothing around you, and clearly management that doesn't know what they're doing, clearly.
And being the captain of that shit squad.
I will answer the question. Millions of dollars.
And I get that, but he can get millions of dollars elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Like, really.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get caught in contracts, could get caught in talks with
Oh,
things
for
like
sure.
that, right? Like it's just
But
the way that kind of goes down.
he has now put in his time that he's probably like regretted. He can make his move, so I think he will.
Yeah.
And any hockey establishment would be happy to have Eichel on their squad.
easy.
Yeah, but
no
big
question.
He's a
teams,
stud.
big players will always take, no matter what sport you're in, will always take time before they sign. Most because they're going to say, okay, teams have already definitely been talking to him, and he's going to sit back and say, what moves are you making this offseason? Like, what? I don't want to join your team now and have your team completely different. I don't agree with it. You know what I mean? Like later on. So a lot of the big name players will sit back and say, okay, like what moves are each team making and where do I fit best? Because if you pick now, say, I fit here now, and then they make a bunch of moves, and it's like, this doesn't make sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just picked another player that was exactly like me, or you picked something or whatever it was, like you end up signing. So
Well, there's guys like Eichel and then Landeskog too that are waiting for other contracts to shake out. So like Cal McCarr,
So, like hey, you just paid him this. I should
Yeah.
at least get this.
absolutely,
Right,
yeah. Like Cal McCarr for the Avs just signed a 6-year, $54 million contract, so he's making $9 million a year. Landeskog's like, I'm a forward. I'm your captain. You just paid this guy $9 million. What am I gonna make? Like, am I getting 11, 12,
12,
13?
yeah.
Like, where's my money at? And if they don't pay him, somebody else will. So like, there's a lot of different shakeouts that'll happen with this offseason coming up.
it's so different. Like in all honesty, that's the one thing I kind of separate myself a little bit, especially with hockey, and that is the contracts, because I'm so used to either NFL or I'm so used to NBA contracts. I find that the players in the NBA are a lot different when it comes to the money, because there's a lot more money in the NBA, obviously, so you get paid.
A lot less players.
But there's a lot less players as well. But the guys, like, they know they're going to get paid no matter what. And the guys' endorsement money is just ridiculous. Like, LeBron just hit the first NBA player ever to be a $1 billion player.
Mm-hmm.
And over, I think it's about 3/4 of it, I want to say at least, is all endorsement money. So, like, they're getting money elsewhere. They're good big names. So when it comes to being paid, they're not like, oh, wait, he's getting paid that much? I'm worth it. Like, you don't see that as much in the NBA or anything like that. You see in the NFL.
It's because the superstars in the NBA are getting supermax contracts. Supermax. They always talk about it all. Whereas in the NHL, you have to have 25 to 30 players under roster, and then you've got your farm leagues and all this kind of stuff. Whereas in the NBA, you're rostering 15.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy in the NFL
also,
too, though.
I still think that the NHL has not done a good job with bringing in more money to that league. Like, the TV deals are horrible. That's why you have blackouts everywhere. That's why you have everything set up. I just don't think they've done a good job.
Oh
with it.
man,
When you compare it to the NBA, the reason the NBA has such huge contracts is because of those TV deals and all those endorsement deals.
yeah.
that
But
the
if you
NBA
look at all 4 major sports and you put up the top profiting franchises in all of them, there's still going to be the Rangers and the Leafs, and
Canadians.
the Canadians are up in top 10, top 15 of profitable teams.
And that's comparing to like the New
I
England
mean, a
Patriots
league in general,
and
though.
the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean an
the New York
entire league.
Yankees.
An entire league, because no matter what, every sport's going to have their iconic team that
Sure.
that is always going to be something. Your Lakers, your Celtics, your things like that. No matter what, but like, I think from a league as a whole, like, I just find that the NHL's missing something personally.
Yeah, we're more of a Canadian fan base than an American one, right? If you compare the NBA, 95% of the population of fans would be American.
No,
there's
it's a worldwide sport.
But still, there's only one Canadian team, and there's no NFL teams,
Right.
and there's only one MLB team, and then there's 7 NHL teams.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be a little bit different monetarily when you have that much larger of your groupings.
That's what I'm saying. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, it's got to be.
There's more money in the States than there is in Canada.
Yeah, but I guess I don't mean just straight up there's more money in the States or whatever. I mean the way that they handle marketing, the way they handle the TV deals, the way they handle their halftime shows, the way they handle things like that.
The way they handle their Seattle Kraken live draft.
Exactly. But even that, honestly though, even that, like I honestly do feel like there's a lot of areas where they drop the ball on that. And like when the playoffs were there, I think I was messaging you guys at some point. I can't remember which game it was, but it was a game 7. And I want to say it was Canadiens and Leafs. And the promotion, like the hype trailer just before the game was about to, like the broadcast was really about to start, was fucking brutal. It was like a sad song about dreams, and it was just like, what the? I am not excited to watch this at all right now. But I know that, like, you watch the NFL, it doesn't even have to be a game, like a playoff game. You can go to NFL on Sunday and watch just like the 9 o'clock game, and you're hyped for it, and you're watching NBA finals. They do such a good job promoting that and getting like this work. And so like I just feel like the NHL as an organization, not just as the Leafs and whatever, I think the NHL as an organization needs to do a little bit better job of just marketing the league, because you're
also a little biased because you don't follow that sport as much. Like you wouldn't be able to say the same thing about the MLB because you don't watch it. You don't really know. So like you know what you watch and you know what you enjoy the most.
And the two sports you watch are the two most perfectly marketed sports.
Apparently.
Definitely.
And they would be. No, they would be.
No, they are.
I would agree with them that the NFL number one, then the NBA, then hockey, then MLB probably in terms of marketing. But I mean, again, look at the salaries. You just have that.
But that's
much
where
more
that
money
money comes from, right? It's like that marketing that brings in dollars, like for the league to use, that they can have in there.
But at the same time,
every year there's a salary bump.
They are the most popular sports, so inevitably they're going to make the more money.
Fair.
So two things I want to mention on contracts. Number one, let's go back to Jack Eichel. Really, if he's a smart man, he just goes to the Tampa Bay Lightning and they'll just pay him because they don't have a cap anyways. And number two, fuck you, Joe Flacco. You ruined the whole NFL economy when you took a stupid contract with the Ravens after you had one good year and a Super Bowl victory. Now every single year, every quarterback is the highest paid person, like highest paid athlete in the world.
Aaron Rodgers out here demanding that he goes a 2-year contract, $90 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like
and he'll probably get it.
Well, like,
they'd be crazy not to.
If you want to win football games, which is the main reason you play a sport.
If you want to keep Devontae Adams.
Yeah. I know we didn't prep for NFL chat at all, but I want to run this by you guys. Have you heard about this COVID situation?
Yes.
Yeah.
How I love it, man. I think it's such just a big dick move by the NFL. I like it. I think it's smart, and it puts accountability on that person, on that player.
The NFL has been in throughout the years. There's always something that gets controversial and does whatever, and sometimes they haven't always shown on the good side of the controversy.
Correct. They historically don't care for their players.
Yeah, they historically make bad decisions, inconsistent decisions. Players are making horrible choices and getting arrested, and they're like, 2 games. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, you should be kicked out of the league. Like, what the hell do you mean? And so you get something like this COVID situation, and they're saying, hey, like you have to be vaccinated and you have to do this. And
no.
Coaches
they're
are
not saying you
out.
have to be vaccinated.
They're not?
They're saying we prefer you to be vaccinated. If you are not, and you are the cause of a breakout in your team automatically takes an L. You forfeit that week, and you're not getting paid that week.
No, so I don't think it's if you get the outbreak, like you have to have, if the outbreak causes you not to have enough players, a certain amount of players on your team, then you get the L. Take that, which I like. Like honestly, like make them accountable. Like you guys are making $250 million each year. That's an accurate number.
Yes.
And you guys, you can't be accurate enough. You can't be careful enough, like not to go to a fucking strip club that night when you're in town. Fucking James Harden. But like, like you can't make stupid decisions. Like you're a multi-million-dollar player who gets invited to, or gets the privilege of playing a game at such a high level, and you can't keep it together for 17 weeks, wherever it is.
So the thing is, though, the way that it's being viewed and the reason that players are having issues, I don't disagree. I think the rule makes sense. I feel like if you're going to be that high level of a player and the marketing is going to be based around you and your team and playing games and everybody following you, you should be vaccinated and make sure that you're looking after yourself so that you can be able to do that and do that responsibly. But the issue that I'm seeing that, again, I can kind of see that side of is, well, you're forcing us. They're not forcing them to get vaccinated, but they're saying if you don't get vaccinated and this happens, then it's your fault and you're screwed. So I
love it.
Without forcing them, they're forcing them, and to them, they don't like being pushed.
A little bit
into
of
situation.
blackmail.
Well, the thing is, like, with a lot of the athletes now, but like especially I think it's really mostly started in the NFL, and now the NBA is getting it too, is they're making their own decisions. I don't want to play. I don't want to play for this team. I'm not playing. Like that decision making has come so strongly from the players these days that now they're getting backed into a corner to say, get vaccinated, and if you don't, you're screwed. Like they're like, they don't want to be backed into that corner, and now they're blaming it on the NFLPA for not being strong enough against it and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? I get it.
Buckle up, boys. Quick rant coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say you think quick because I got a rant on this one.
Okay, because like here's my thing. The difference with this situation is that the NFL is making, and at least in my opinion, I think in yours too, a good decision. Where typically, if it's on a bad decision, that everyone's siding with the players. This is a pivotal moment where this is an NFL making, in my opinion, a pretty smart decision, making people accountable for what's happening. And if players are going to start to push back against it, I think it's going to change the viewpoint. If they're saying, I'm not going to play because of this. I think a lot of people are going to agree with the rule, saying that, like, you know, you want to stop COVID, you want to stop things like that. Like, this is a way to do it. And if you're going to be going against it, it changes the way I think about my favorite player. The player.
They're American, man. That's not how that looks.
Okay.
Okay, rant ensued. First of all, you get paid millions of dollars. Your fucking job is to catch a ball. Okay? That's your job.
God.
You get paid great money
Sounds
to
like
go
shut up
there
and
to
dribble.
catch a ball. Okay? That's awesome. That's your job. That's so sweet. You get paid millions of dollars to catch a ball.
There's a lot of other positions, but yeah, sure.
Correct. I'm summarizing. That being said, it's ironic as can be that the NFL and Goodell and everyone else, normally they get paid millions of dollars because they go out there and they put their body on the line. They risk CTE. They risk crazy injuries like Alex Smith shit. Like that stuff happens in that sport. They go on and they risk their bodies every day doing this. Torn ACLs before the games even happen. Stuff like that happens all the time. And the NFL normally is like, well, that's why we pay you lots of money. It's compensation, you know?
Yeah.
But the one time that they're like, we actually want to protect you. We're doing this to protect you. I know that in their head, they're doing it because it's money. Don't get me wrong. If the teams can't play, fans can't go, people don't watch, no money comes in. But that's what the NFL's doing right now. They're saying, if you're going to put us in a situation that we can't get money, you're not going to get money. And I think it's smart. Because imagine being that one guy, being Cole Beasley, and the Buffalo Bills can't play a game, and they take one loss, maybe two loss forfeits. All of a sudden, you're that guy in your locker room that has caused your team to maybe not make the playoffs, and you're that close to becoming an actual championship, to becoming a champion. That would be the worst feeling, is being the guy in the locker room that the rest of your team is like, man, why didn't you just take the fucking needle? Like, just do it. You may not like it, you may not agree with it. Just who cares?
Well,
just
follow the
do it.
protocols too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because even if you have the shots, like follow the protocols and follow things like that, right? Like, and so I agree with you. Like it is, and it's the first time you see the NFL making a decision that could potentially lose them money. Because typically the first thing to think of is like, no, we need these players to play because we need to get money, we need to sell tickets, we need to do this. And yet, if you say, oh, your team forfeits, those are tickets that aren't sold. You're not postponing it to eventually sell the tickets.
The other thing that I find
you're
the
forfeiting.
controversy on that is both weird and ironic is they're forcing this. Well, not again. They're forcing, quote unquote, that vaccinations and all this stuff has to happen that much within the teams and the executives and all that kind of stuff, that they're using it as a marketing ploy, saying, "Look, we're doing something about COVID."
Okay.
But then at the same time, it's like, in America, there's so many people, and I'm sure tons of their fans that are like, man, who cares? Like, they've stopped caring about COVID down there so much, and it's gone up and down and up and down and up and down, and now the NFL's like, well, hey, look, we care, we're doing something about COVID, and it's just, again, another marketing ploy. So like, hey, maybe they're doing something that's not making them money, but they're doing it in a way that's like, hey, we care, we're paying attention, we're part of the change.
Yeah.
So Drake would tell the NHL, Jump on board like that. Better marketing, boys.
Yeah, no.
Well, and
I don't like doing I don't like doing like weird things like because Luke does bring up a very good point is that the NFL has historically made decisions that seem woke but are like way late like when they shouldn't be, you know what I mean, and like
the
they'll
Black
use
Lives
this
Matter
as, like,
movement with the NBA, like they took that in full stride.
Yeah.
And then the following season, the NFL's like, well, if you kneel, it's okay.
yeah.
That was it. Like we
That's all he
care.
said.
Like
We-
NBA, like live in time on action, going into playoffs. The team's got buses. They're doing a whole big thing of it in Orlando. NFL's like, well, we let them train.
Yeah.
Like that was it. Like
that's all they do, and so they historically do that. And again, like over and over again, like I mean, like I still think that the leadership in the NFL needs to change because, in my opinion, I had this conversation with a guy the other day. If you're a player and you get arrested for possession of a weapon or domestic violence or whatever, if I'm running that league and I'm running it properly, you are now terminated from the league. You don't get to play. Do you know how many people out there are itching day after day and busting their ass to try and get an opportunity to play for the NFL, doing things properly, working hard, being a good person, and yet somebody can be a piece of shit, but because he can run a 3-second 40 or whatever,
That's real fast.
I know.
It's
I'm just saying it's
It's
ridiculous.
not
Humanly
impossible. It's
impossible.
improbable.
It's actually isn't. Yeah.
Humanly
Anyways,
impossible.
but like he can do that, but yet he can still go out and perform all these horrible acts and still get to play. Like it is a privilege. You're getting paid millions of dollars to do that. You're representing people, a country, families, things like that. And if you're gonna go off and do something like that, you should not get that privilege to play and make those millions of dollars anymore. Like it's just how is that a thing? And that goes in any sport. In all honesty, like that goes in any sport, and like whether it's hockey, whether it's basketball, whether it's like you should not be able to play professional sports if you are arrested for doing something like that. Because guess what?
Oh, and you know what? That's a perfect segue to why Montreal Canadiens suck as a fucking franchise.
Oh my fuck!
Logan Melieu drafted at number one, or not
number one pick at number
the first
31.
pick, number 31.
From the London Knights.
After renouncing himself from the draft. And the Canadians, Bergevin, well, we're going to help him out and we're going to get him on the right path. Even though he just decided for himself, saying, to get myself on the right path, I haven't been mature enough. I don't deserve to be drafted. It's something that like you have to earn, and I didn't earn it. He was, now again, it's controversial on what happened.
That's not what he actually thinks. He's pumped now.
Man, I don't care though. If that's what his publicist and his agents and his camp, his people were saying was necessary, whether he said it in his words or not, that was a smart move. For him to say that, for him to actually like take the opportunity to take a step back and hopefully actually grow up and figure things out. To him, to that situation and what he was going on with, to renounce himself from the draft was a smart move, publicist wise, whatever. But then the Habs pick him. Wow, we're gonna help him learn and grow up. Dumb move. Dumb move by Montreal, man.
Not
And
a
you
great-
had
not a great
so
pick.
many people in your corner. It's so many people in your corner after that playoffs, man. And then doing that shit. Bye.
I'm surprised the NHL didn't step in because
They
like
really should have.
and like in all honesty, like you got to think about right away, like the women, the girls that were affected by that, by what he did, and yet that person is now sitting back saying he's now getting rewarded for doing that.
All he had to say was, "Oh, I'm going to renounce myself," and then still got drafted.
Yeah, like how is that a
Here's
thing?
hoping he's that talented.
Here's hoping he falls on his face, honestly.
Honestly.
Leafs fan.
Yeah, like
No, I know. I'm not happy
oh,
with the pick either.
Yeah.
Really not. I'm not going to defend him. I think what he
No.
did was stupid.
Yeah.
And he was trying to renounce himself on purpose because, again, try and mature and take yourself out of the spotlight and just kind of get back into the grind and
Yeah.
earn your way back. Shouldn't have done what he did.
Mm.
And the Habs shouldn't have done what they did.
Mm-hmm.
They should have won the cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they wouldn't be in this position.
Crazy though. Like that.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a nuts.
It's going to be a rough
situation.
next year. Like, next year's going to be a rough year.
Yeah.
yeah. So
I mean, now again, getting back to it with Carey being back on the team and you having to pick up all that cap space again, and essentially wasting your first round pick, to be completely honest. Like, that's a tough spot to be in that franchise. And then again, had so many people in your corner. Now to bring that controversy to your camp and to your starting of the year, it's gonna be hairy.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Let's talk about a great feel-good story of sports. Giannis.
Yeah,
He did it.
the Bucks pulled it off.
He did it, man.
Fuck.
I'm
50
proud of him.
points.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah, but man,
I was
yeah,
rooting
mean,
for
you
the
can't not
Suns.
be.
I was rooting for the Suns because, cool story.
Yep.
But Giannis deserves it.
So, two things in that matter. Now that I'm actually looking back on it, not sad to see either team win. Both of them, you like to see Giannis get that. He put in a lot of effort, and that team was obviously very strong and deserved to win it. Won it in 4 straight games. That was pretty big. They were down 2-0. Suns looked like they had a climb coming, and man, Giannis and Middleton just came out and killed it.
That's the big story of Middleton, right?
Yeah, like Middleton
Yes.
was way off in the first 2 games and then came back. Drew Holiday was killing it and that kind of thing too. I found it kind of funny, like where Giannis was saying, well, I could have gone to any other team and not been the best player on that team and won with that team. So I'm not, we didn't win as a super team. It's like, man, Chris Middleton is really good and also an all-star. Drew Holiday also probably could have been an all-star. Like, man, you had a good team around you. Grow up.
That's
like,
no super team, though. That's a
pretty
that's obviously a
friggin' close.
championship caliber team, but it's not a super team.
pretty
Right?
No,
friggin' close.
It's not Miami Heat back in the day. Like, it's not.
The Miami Heat was a quintessential super team. The Durant with Steph
Harden,
was
yeah.
a quintessential super team. I'm not going to count Harden and them a super team until they fucking do something.
True,
but
fair,
but for Giannis to say that, I think the point is that he didn't himself leave to go to another team.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it was a shot at LeBron, but I don't think it was a smart shot at LeBron, because LeBron can go to a team that has nothing, but players will just come to him. Like, it's not like he's going to LeBron's not like saying the Brooklyn's got Kevin Durant and Harden and everything like that already, and he had it for a couple seasons, and then he goes, fuck it, I'm going to go over there. He's not doing that. LeBron will go to a high school team and then everybody will come to him. And then like
when he went to the Lakers at that point in time, the Lakers were not a strong
were
team.
not good.
And then by him going there, Anthony Davis
brought
wanted to go
people-
there.
And wasn't Cleveland brutal when he went back to Cleveland?
Yes.
Yes.
And then he won a
And then he
championship
won, yeah.
back to back, right?
Yes.
No, not back to back.
Not back to
Just
back,
one.
but he won a championship there.
In Cleveland.
But
With a high school team. Like, they were trash.
yeah, like
That was back in his
you had
prime
Kyrie
prime,
and you
like-
had Kevin Love, but Kevin Love was kind of on his way out a little bit in terms of it, and Kyrie is good, so it's always nice to have the 1-2. But it's the same thing. You look
Sounds
at
like
Milwaukee. Okay, look, I'll say this about Giannis. He is incredible.
Giannis.
I keep saying Giannis. But I'll say this about Giannis. And somebody said this online. He is more comparable to a Shaquille O'Neal type of player than he is to any of the other greats. Because Shaq did one thing the best, and that was bully
Free
downside
throws.
but he would bully in and just dominate. And that's kind of what Giannis does, man. Like, he can hit a 3 here and there, but he doesn't do it often. Like, he has one aspect of his game that he does the majority of the time. That's it. Yes, he can score 40 points. He can do this. He will score that every
50
single
in the
time.
finals game.
50 in the finals game.
Did anyone take the time to add up the time that he took in between free throws?
Oh, I'm sure somebody
In the
did.
People are doing
playoffs.
it all over the place.
I'm sure somebody
I want to
did.
know his total accumulated time in the playoffs.
Oh, my
6.5
Somebody link
minutes.
this. Somebody link this here.
yeah. But Giannis, the thing I always like to point out is that Giannis can score 40 points a game every single time. It does not mean that they will win the game.
Right, because his team
Because
isn't doing anything else.
if Chris Middleton doesn't show up, then they don't win. It's the same with any great player, right? Michael Jordan didn't score 120 points a game to win every single game. He didn't score every single point. He needed other guys to score. That's just what happens. Yes, you can be the main guy on the team. That's what makes you the best, of course. But don't put everything on just because in the end, if your 50 points isn't changing anything, then it's just not going to matter. So it's just
I think the one thing, like, obviously Giannis, phenomenal player, all-star, like one of the first players to be, I think the stat was, he's the first person to be a defensive player of the year, a finals MVP, an MVP, and Rookie of the Year and most improved. He's the first person like to get all of that, like to have had that in his career, which is huge, phenomenal player. But like the difference between him and MJ, Kobe, LeBron, they are guys that can like take over a game. They're not going to win you the game strictly alone by scoring 80 points and being the only person to score. Obviously, they had great supporting casts, as many of the greats would, but I don't feel like Giannis takes over a game like those guys.
Giannis,
He said it.
I know. But honestly, though, Giannis doesn't hit game winners. In the end,
all I can think about is the time and free throws.
When a couple times,
That's serious.
A couple times when they played the Miami Heat in the playoffs, there, Chris Middleton was the one that scored the final second shot. Mm-hmm. He's the one that's hitting those shots.
Yeah, but it's like in the NFL too. You gotta double team DeAndre Hopkins. You got two man him, and then you open up your slot receiver. Like same idea. You have to have a complementary player to make that team good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with Giannis though. That is not a super team.
No. Again, I'm not saying that they were a super team. It's just funny that he's saying like I didn't have to go anywhere and play with better players and like be like the not number one player. Like I'm the number one player on this team, and then we won. It's like I get you're not on a super team, but like it's just funny that he had to bring that up, even though he's got two outstanding players that are still on his team.
What I remember reading too is that his quote was, "I'm not leaving Milwaukee until we have a championship here." Right? And he did. He was a man of his word.
His loyalty to that team, awesome.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
He got drafted there, and he's been there the whole time, and that's something that I think should be.
He got his brother on the team, and now his brother got a championship too. Like
that's what should definitely be admired.
And brothers on the team too. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't want to make it sound
Think
like
of the money they had to spend on two of those jersey names. That's a lot of lettering.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm taking anything from Giannis, because by all means,
well, that's what I mean. That's what you're coming off.
He's been so dominant, but there's one thing that I want people to like. I've seen like online on Twitter and things like that. All y'all need to calm down about the him and LeBron debate. Like everyone needs to calm down. Everyone's just like
didn't even know that was a debate.
He won the
Giannis
championship.
is obviously better.
I went to Twitter like to see through like what people were saying about the championship and things like that, and everyone's like, all right, so now that Giannis won his championship, does that make him better than LeBron? It's like, calm down. Like, what do you mean? No. He won one championship, man. Like, gee, you can say that about anybody who's won a championship. Steph Curry, he better look like no. Like the guy, LeBron has cemented himself over. He's 30. He's 36.
I'm 36.
He's 36 years old.
Those skits,
and he does what he does, man. Like he is not like Giannis is in his prime, man. Like it's like if you go back to LeBron on the Heat, when I still think that's the best version of LeBron that
probably.
he played. That
he did look good in that jersey, Drake.
He was just absolutely dominant.
I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
Yeah,
that's a good quote.
Oh my God,
it is great.
Crazy.
So yeah, I just think that people need to calm down on that debate. Giannis is on a good path. Obviously, he's got a lot of awards so far. He's got a good track record. He's got everything.
Is he one of the most heavily endorsed players too?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's not
he has his own sneakers and stuff too already.
Yeah,
he does. He has his own. Yeah,
he doesn't have like his own like brand, but like he has his own sneaker.
But he doesn't have. They're not like the Giannis or whatever. They're like another version of like a Nike or something like that. That it is. He doesn't have his own. Like there's no like Kobe has his Nike like Kobe shoes.
The Under Armour Currys. Like.
Yeah, LeBron's got his LeBrons that everyone wants to get. Like same idea. So he doesn't have that yet, but he's getting there. He's on the right path. He's got a championship, which is fantastic. Things like that. So he's on the path. But you still have to finish the path before you can. That's why everyone right now is talking about when it comes to like LeBron-Michael debate. Wait until LeBron's fucking done. I know what I believe, but I still know that it can change by the time that he finishes. So like he could screw it up at any moment. He could do whatever. So it's just like let him finish before you say anything, because he may not finish at all with anything. You know what I mean? Like
that's the old debate, right? Like, and you have like Gretzky versus Crosby and stuff, and like totally different games, like in the different eras, right? I hate that in the NFL there is no debate. Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time, and I hate that. Yeah. I hate his stupid face.
He shut it down.
I hate his stupid, perfect little face.
Like there was a video Drake and I seen today where it was like
accuracy?
Tom Brady's accuracy throwing. I was like, that can't be real.
It's real.
That can't be real, man.
I don't know if it's real or not.
Him throwing the ball directly, perfectly into the ball thrower, and then throwing it back to no.
3 times in a row.
There's no way. There's no way that's real.
100% it's real.
I don't know if it's. It could be camera
He's
trickery.
so good.
It could be
so
camera
good.
trickery.
He literally does that hundreds of times a day. Throws a football hundreds of times a day. And he's 40.
I know. I hate it.
Oh, he's 42.
Like he's
Yeah.
42.
in his
43
in
is-
his 40s.
That is an interesting point, though. Like, he is the one athlete right now who is, like, undeniably taken the GOAT
Yeah.
title. You know what I mean? Like,
You can't be like,
Just-
who's better,
just-
Brady or Montana? It's
just
like,
stomped
Brady.
on it. You know what I mean? Like just stomped
Mahomes
on
or Brady? It's fucking Brady. It's
Yeah.
Brady.
Yeah.
Right now. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe Mahomes down the road. Who knows?
Like
He has
Brady
finished.
still beat out Mahomes. Like, oh my god. Oh.
Fucking crazy, right? Anyways, before we all get, because we could probably do this for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
'Cause,
This is
I
not a
started-
Joe Rogan podcast. We cannot continue.
I
this
started
on.
going pretty much. I need to draw myself.
Yeah.
Get myself taken
you
back.
finally like recognized you got a little at hand there.
Drake always gets a little out of hand.
Crickets.
Wrap it up.
like our golf cart today.
Hey, boys, let's put a bow on it.
Yeah. So, to tidy this up for everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. We had plenty of different opportunities in there for us asking you guys opinions, comments. Please jump in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts were on favorite Pokemon, on the sports, everything that we chatted about today. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ding-a-ling-a-ling that bell for
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
notifications. And we are signing out.